And Tim Onlu goes over a tenth of a second fast.
Oh dear. Wait, are we live? You can hear me. Hey everybody, and it's lights out and away we go with the stream. I'm not prepared for this. Give me a second. Good evening, everyone. Um, as we all sit in silence with what I presume is a black screen, you're sat with myself, Kill Your Trout, and Alex Cochran in your ears.
Hello, you should be able to hear me now. Sorry about that.
You're here tonight. We're about to witness the champion split race at the Italian Grand Prix, which is held at Mugello this season. Round 3. It should be an exciting one tonight. A lot of mixed reviews about the track choice, but I mean, this is one that kind of separates the mice from the men, isn't it, Alex?
Yeah, obviously it's a very, very high-speed circuit here. Almost no slow corners. Tyre wear super, super high here. Some of the drivers have been complaining. I think some drivers might even be on a two-stop here, which is the first for this season. I think it's the first for last season too, because we didn't even have any two-stop races then. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. There's a quite varied grid. A few of the drivers that were really up there last race are not here. Ty isn't here. Nicholas Shepherd did not complete enough laps to qualify for the race. That is, it did not qualify for him. So Gibson, last week's winner, is still on track, setting really good pace. He's currently first in the qualifying session at 17 dead. Times will be expected to come down, obviously, as the track rubbers in. But yeah, definitely a interesting race to come.
But yeah, I mean, tire choice wise, what are we looking at tonight, Alex?
Yeah, so again, it's as I said, super high degradation, and a lot of the teams are not even considering the C3s this time. I've seen a lot of talk of C2, C1, maybe even two-stop C2, C2 to C1. So it's quite different to what we normally had, because I know last season we didn't even look at the C1s. People ignored them, pretended they didn't exist because they were just too hard to make work. But the super fast corners we've got here, the long constant radius, left, right, chicanes, and then the sweeping corners onto the straights really punish the tyres, get a lot of heat into them. So I'm not quite sure how it's going to go, but it looks like C2 to C1, maybe some two stops. I don't know. We'll see.
I personally predict the one stop. I mean, it's really hard to overtake around here, so to try and utilize those tires, it's going to be a tough challenge. You really need an experienced driver to negate their way through the traffic. But yeah, let's talk about the championship. Really, I mean, Wilhelms and Gibson at the front of the order for Lioness Racing. Who are the contenders tonight?
Yeah, definitely. They've been having a fantastic season so far. Last season they finished on a high and came in saying we want a challenge, and yeah, they're leading the championship so far. So I think Merrick, who's recently joined Nova Academy, will definitely be up there, but he's had the last two races have been quite poor for him, unfortunately. So in terms of the championship, he's not too close. And Shepherd, who was also doing quite well for one of the Horizon family teams, isn't here too. This is the Horizon. I'm not sure which team officially sponsors this, but it's the Horizon Racing. Mugello is the sponsor for today, so that's to note. But unfortunately, one of their star drivers isn't here.
Yeah, it's unfortunate when they can't make the grid. Sometimes the drivers do have reserves, but that is team by team basis. Not everyone can afford such talent to replace. Anyway, Mario Lind currently in first. Those who have stuck with Formula Trout over the years would recognise Mario Lind from previous seasons. When was it that he last raced? Obviously, he's been racing this season, but
yeah, Lind was a mainstay of the grid for a few years, a few seasons. He took part in a few Challenger races last season, a reserve, but I think he's not been as active as he has been, but he has certainly scored some podiums in the past. So really one to watch. He had quite a poor race out in Bahrain where he also took part, but yeah, setting the pace here so far, 2/10 ahead of Gockman in P2. Oops. Jason Merrick spins one of the fast corners right on the limit in that corner. You can almost take it flat. I believe when Formula 1 came here in real life, the cars were flat here in 2020. Obviously, we've had the cuts to the floor. The rear of the car is a lot less rear downforce now, so you can't run as much front downforce to compensate for that. And yeah, some of the teams just managing to do it. Obviously, setups are quite important here, but yeah, just catching Jace out there and ruining his, I don't know if it's an outlap or a fast lap, but yeah, not what you want to do. P5 so far, but the times are very close and the track's just rubbering in now.
Just to point out, it was season 5 that Mario Lind featured in last, and for those who don't know, we are on season 9 at the moment. So yeah, it's been a while since he's last raced with us. It's always nice to see people come back.
Yeah, obviously we have, I think, over 70 drivers registered for this season. We've got Challenger Split and the Master Split. Solo drivers can take part in the Challenger Split, so we have seen quite a few names return to Trout after a few seasons out, so it's really good to see. If just to comment, I'm sure everyone noticed, but we don't have Ross, our usual commentator, here today. So me, Alex Cochran, and Kilgore Trout are filling in the role currently. So you'll have to bear with, but we can do an okay job.
It's a pretty big role to fill. It needs 2 people at least, one for each shoe. Oliver Gibson at the top of the times with a 1:16.4, I believe. It's a bit blurry on my end.
Yeah, 1:16.4, which is a great time so far. I think some of the Master Split guys were just touching the 1:14s in the pre-race practice. I doubt to see that in the real qualifying sessions, but Challenger Split, I think probably low 15s we'll definitely see, even from Challenger Split, because there's some really fast drivers out there. Gibson and Merrick, in fact, could both be very competitive in the Master Split, and they're clearly the championship contenders here right now. So yeah, they're definitely showing what they've got.
Gibson really using every inch of the track here. You really have to, but at the same time, the the sand is closing in on you as you're trying to find those extra few tenths. One mistake and these guys are building sandcastles as Oliver Gibson decides to come in. As we can see, someone out there.
It's Mario Lind, actually.
All right, okay.
So definitely not good for him. That was through another. Guy can't talk. It was through another one of the fast corners. So you just off the line and it pulls you off the track. Definitely not what he wants to do. So Wilhelms sets another 16.4 just behind Gibson, but that line here is 1:2, which is definitely where they want to be. Times are still expected to come down, but that is a really fantastic time. Just going back on what you were saying, Kilgore, the grass is super close here. We have this is obviously a very, very traditional circuit. There's no tarmac runoffs, no wide exit curbs. It's you go wide, you touch the grass, and there's just no grip out there. You can just flick the car around, and that could be race over. Maybe lap 1. So you have to be super careful as another car gets caught out at the fast corner.
I mean, that entire second sector going uphill, these guys are flat out. If they've got the gear ratio set and dialed in properly, they're going, I think, like 6th gear up there. Correct me if I'm wrong. They're not holding back. If they want those lap times, they've got to essentially put pedal to the metal and just hope that the line that they've set themselves up for will allow for the complete amount of grip that they need, because one wrong turn and that car's going the wrong way.
Yeah, there's basically one line through there, and if you just just turn it at the wrong point, and you can just completely be offline. The dangerous exit curbs can pull you off, and then you get on the grass and you're just going to go straight on. Basically, there is a little bit of grip on there. Obviously, it's not the end of the world, but you're not going to be able to set a fast lap if you do that, and it's you're going to be losing time in the race. You need to be super careful if you do end up out there.
You know, it all starts from the downhill sector, really. Essentially, you know, it's where you place the car, as we'll see Jace come up to shortly. Makes his way past a couple of cars, hopefully.
Yeah, it's another thing to comment as Jace completes one of his laps. It's traffic here is difficult because there's, as we said, it's just fast corner after fast corner, left, right, flat out corners. So there's no real place to move out the way here, especially like, as you can see, he's coming up to one of these slower cars, it seems, through this flat out corner, flat through the right hander, and then flat through the next right hander again into a braking zone. And just the dirty air off the car in front, he's not going to be happy with that. Doesn't look too close, but he'll definitely be feeling that through the steering wheel. He's 4 tenths down on his previous lap, so definitely not the lap times he wants to be setting as we get into the final 3 minutes of qualifying. Case sets starts one of his last flying laps, 2 minutes 40 left, so he might just get another if he's got enough charge in the battery, enough life in the tyres.
Jace Merrick goes fastest in the last sector though, with a 34 seconds, 34.9.
Yeah, he didn't improve on his previous lap, but if he's got enough charge in his battery, he should be able to do the lap. It's very, very high consumption for the battery around here. There's lots of straights, not very long braking zones, and that's really what you need, because the recovery in these cars is all in the braking zones. You obviously have the MGU-K and the MGU-H, and just the braking zones, all the energy that would be going through the rear brakes just get channeled into the batteries, and then they can spin up the turbo. There's another car off through the fast right-hander. It just helps to go through. Looks like Willems has made a mistake. But he's off the track.
He might have to stay there.
Yeah,
it will cost him.
Not sure where that is, but looks like he's maybe hit the wall. That's going to be his lap ruined, obviously, and then if he's got any damage, won't be able to continue his next lap. We'll go back on board with Merrick to see how he's doing. So he just gets to the last corner now.
Carter Jackson's just put in a decent lap, fastest in the middle sector as well. Wasim Shawan also seems to be on a decent lap. Yeah, it goes 6th fastest for that.
As Merrick just jumped on provisional pole by 1/100th of a second ahead of Gibson. I think he's on lap as well. Merrick still seems to be going round, so he might just be able to keep the speed up, but Gibson is 1,000th off his current best as well, so they're right neck and neck currently. Takes the grass on entry.
Yeah, he's committed.
As we said in Bahrain, though, you know, a driver that is in tune with the car, just comfortable, you can take these risks, take these extra little steps out on the track that can just get you ahead of the competition. As you can see, just really pushing the car. Not sure what the sector times are like, but yeah, I think he might be backing off actually, because he did not set the best. Yeah, he's lifting through here, so maybe he can just have one more attempt, charge the batteries, prepare the tyres as he comes around the last corner. Yeah, this isn't actually a time lap. I don't think it's his out lap, in fact. So that was quite surprising to see him taking those risks on the out lap when obviously you're not even.
Maybe he just wants to confirm, you know, a flying lap, because as you can see, he's only got like 5 seconds now. Now we're into overtime. Obviously, anyone on their flying lap that hasn't finished it gets to. Anyone who didn't make the line. That will be their set time. Yeah,
I believe we have 4 cars on track currently. Gibson, who's just in the first sector now. Oh, there's another car off in the background. It's the last sector as Ali Gockman sets 16.7, which puts him provisionally 5th, but Mario Lin's just coming around the last corner now. Might be able to just get ahead.
Gibson's unable to improve on the first and second sector.
So Lin goes P4 with a 16.5. It's closer, but improves to P4, but not enough.
It looks like Merrick will take this unless Gibson has something special in the last few corners.
He runs wide, tries to get the cut back to just claw back the extra time. Yep, not enough. It's a 16.5. So that's Merrick on pole.
So close between them though. So close.
Yeah, 1,000th of a second between the top two. Just shows how tight the competition is here. I think that's everyone finished now. Yep.
And that's good to see as well. As you know, going into this race, we were worried that it would be another Lioneers one too.
Yeah, definitely. It's nice to see a different result. You know, the competition is always quite fierce. The problem is sometimes in Challenger Split, you get a particularly fast driver comes through and they get snapped up to Master Split immediately. But we've got quite a close battle going on at the moment, which is great to see.
And we head over to the pits where we can get one-to-one with Christoph Boozer.
Yes, hello.
Hey Christoph, what are your thoughts for tonight's event? I mean, what are your beliefs on the pit strategy?
It's very interesting to see because some people opt for quite soft tires, C3 and C2, and others say, okay, they need to use the C1s or maybe utilize a two-stop. It also comes to play in the Challenger Split that if you're slower, the tire doesn't heat as much, and if the tire doesn't heat, it doesn't wear as much. So I think we have a big variety in the Challenger Split in terms of strategy.
Are you going to give us a clue on what Griffin Gaming Red might be doing?
I don't know. We're starting on the C3s, so it's either C2s or C1s, depending on how Mario feels later into the stint.
And the cars begin to queue up on the start-finish straight. Just over a minute to go until lights out. Round 3 of the Mugello Italian Grand Prix held at Mugello, sponsored by Horizon Racing Team. And you're watching, I was going to say, you're watching the Formula Trout League Premier Series Challenger Split race. Stay tuned. This should be an exciting race. What were you about to say, Alex?
Nothing important, just about 40 seconds to light out. Obviously, we've got quite the big grid here. I've got a car on the grid. I believe that's Christoph. Just hope he disappears before the lights go out. We have had that problem in the past before.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, as you can see, Merrick on pole in the Nova Academy car. Nova is not a stranger to being near the front of the grid. Obviously, they started in Challenger Split back in Season 6. Never actually scored a win, but a few pole positions, a few podiums, and then obviously they scored that singular win and a few podiums in Master Split 2. So as the lights come out now.
Okay, all lights red. Here we go. Round 3 of Formula Trout League Challenger Split, and it's a great start for Oliver Gibson. Case is just on the rear of Merrick, and it looks for the inside. Merrick seems to close the door, and it's side by side. Who goes into turn 3? Who knows? It's Merrick just ahead for now. It doesn't seem to be much issue at the back, not that I can see, to be honest. But Merrick leads this race. Great camera skills from our cameramen in the sky. And Merrick leads the Mugello race. What are your thoughts, guys?
Yeah, it's a really great start. Obviously, the initial getaway wasn't great, but into turn 1 managed to sweep round and keep the lead from Gibson. Wilms had a brief look down the inside, but thought better of it. Probably the right move around turn 1, but yeah, super hard to overtake here. He's got 2 cars off at the back, it seems like. It's Tom Bunton, I believe one of the Team Gridfinder cars who's made their debut here, and I'm not going to attempt to pronounce that name, I'm afraid.
Shawan.
Yeah, they're another car which has sadly gone off.
We have also one car that didn't even make it off the grid. It's parked in the pit lane. Not entirely sure what went wrong.
It's a shame to see. I'm not sure who that is. We'll try and get back to you. I'm not sure if you have that information, Christoph.
I think Linda's eyeing up a move on Jackson at the moment. He's getting close at least. But we're at that stage in the race, second lap, cars are all bunched up. You know, maybe some people didn't get the qualifying that they wanted, but pace-wise, they're definitely faster. So we'll definitely see a few overtake attempts shortly.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those things people say, oh, this Hepner's gone off through one of the fast corners, it looks like. It's in the wall.
Yeah, just the downhill sector. Really needs to learn these corner names.
Yeah, I'm not sure myself, unfortunately. Yeah, as I said, people say, you know, the race isn't won in the first corner in the first lap, but that's when you need to be making the moves. That's when the grid's close together. If you've had the bad qualifying, you know, the first few laps are when to make those moves to keep them during the race. As you can see, we said it was hard to pass. The gaps throughout the field are almost a second for every car now, and DRS is only given within a second, and we're almost beyond that. As Merrick sets fastest lap of the race by 3/10. Merrick takes 3/10 to the next car, so pulling a gap on the second lap already, almost getting out of DRS range.
Yeah, a lot of these drivers just finding their footing, you know, as the laps come to them. I mean, Lioneer's holding on to the second best spot at the moment, but we'll be leading the drivers' championship with the next race, at least. If they hold on to this.
Yeah, definitely. P2 and P3 is, I'm sure they'd like to be in front, but for now, Merrick's leading the race for Nova Academy, I should say. Finlandia is the master split team. But I think Merrick's alone on track today, which is a bit unfortunate. Oh no, yeah, Alistair Pollock is also there. But running in P7, so not a bad points haul so far, but we're only 3 laps in. We've got 36 laps to go, so DRS will be enabled this lap. Case is just keeping up with Gibson in P2, but Merrick's just pulling away. He's pulled that 1 second gap, which means he's not going to get the DRS next time round. You can see the rear wing flap wide open on Case's car as he sets the fastest lap of the race as well. 3/10 to his teammates, catching up. Oh, it looks like one of our cars is potentially DNF'd. I'm not sure. Maybe just the timing streak.
That is the car I was talking about. Andreas Leonidu. I'm sorry. Well, yeah, he was the one who didn't make it off the grid.
Yeah, it's a shame to see. We're down to 14 runners here. So Lind gets right up close behind Jackson, who did a really impressive qualifying. In fact, I think he qualified P5 in the end, so that's potentially the best qualifying result we've seen from him. But we didn't make quite note of the tyres. I think the tyre choices here might be quite varied.
Stephen Hapner went into the pits after his crash, and he's now on the C1 tire. So it will be interesting to see how his pace compares to everyone else on the C3, that they can see, okay, when do we pit?
Yeah, sorry to change the topic. Looks like Pollock has made a mistake, dropping from P7 down to P10. Didn't seem to hit anything. I think he just made a mistake by himself. Didn't hit the wall, but yeah, dropped a few positions. Still a good as I say that, and he spins again through the last corner. He's really going to have to come into the pits now. His tyres must be cooked after that.
Very unfortunate to see.
We'll just switch back to Gibson. Willems has overtaken Gibson actually. He's right behind him. Just missed that as the Nova car went off. Looks like he's maybe passed him on the straight, maybe let him through. I'm not too sure. It does seem like Willems has the better pace so far. But Merrick's pulling that 2-second gap. Definitely not what Lyoniers wants.
Pollock's gone off again, I believe, in the first corner.
Yeah, he stayed out, and I think Ross was talking about this last week. You know, some of the Challenger split drivers aren't as experienced with the tyres, aren't as experienced with the car. They maybe make a mistake and they think they can keep going, think they can stay on the track, and as he goes around again, his tyres will just not be happy. They'll be very, very hot, and just the high-speed corners here are just going to keep the temperatures going up.
Yeah, he needs to really go at a snail's pace, and that puts him a bit of a hazard to the drivers.
Yeah, if there was a bit more race.
He's off again. Hefner could be okay. Yeah, it's the rest of the gang who will be catching up to Pollock now as he's about to be lapped. Oh, is he going to be able to get through this part? So we go with our handy eye in the sky.
Yeah, as we can see, it doesn't seem to be doing too bad, but you know, you overcook it slightly and the car's just going to swap ends on you. He really, really needs to. Yeah, can't even. It's so unfortunate. Like I can feel his pain because he's just going to be want to continue, want to get the time back, but.
And there we go. He's about to be lapped. Hopefully, he stays out of the way.
Yeah, and this is the problem. The cars lap him now. He's slow. There'll be white flags out on track. Needs to just keep it safe on the track. Obviously, it's hard for him because the car's got to be so unpredictable. But you know, it's not the other car's fault. It looks like Arthur's gone round at one of the corners in the last sector. It looks like loses a position, I believe. Yeah, loses a few positions. Drops to P10. Still in the points, but a bit of a disaster. Pollock's off at the last corner, I think.
He's so close to the pit. He might miss it if he's not careful.
Yeah, I think he'll be definitely pitting this time. Yeah, as you can see, he's potentially bolt on the C1 tyres and go to the end. We've seen a few people do that before, so...
Nova will be glad that their Brandon's not on his car in this race.
Seems like a timing bug, as it said Gibson took the lead then, but looks like the timing screen's just getting a little confused, as it seems Merrick is still comfortably leading by, I think, 2.5 seconds now.
Yeah, so he's out of the DRS gap. Speaking of, though, Gibson staying close to Wilhelm, so he will be...
Looks like Wilhelm's made a mistake through there. Gibson closed almost 3/10 through that high-speed corner, but just nothing you can do. The corners are fast, spit you out on the exit, and you just can't make a move because you're stuck on your line. You either go into the grass... Wilhelm's runs off. Yeah, bit of a disaster from Wilhelms there. He's dropped to P5 after running P2 for so long after passing Gibson there on lap 2 or whenever it was. He's not dropped too far back, no damage, but not what he wants to do. He should be within DRS range of Lind in front, so he might have DRS. Yeah, he does. Too far back to make any impact on him, I believe.
It'd be a shame to put all this practice to waste. Case, get back up there.
Yeah, I think if I'm correct in saying, Kilgore, Lyony is part of your oxygen program.
I believe it's pronounced oxygen, yeah, and much like Alpine, but yeah, it's they are part of our tribe, and yeah, he's put in a lot of practice. He's not too happy with how the cars are handling, but I know a lot of drivers are also experiencing similar issues, trying to dial in that setup.
Yeah, it's a shame that just manages to lose the rear through this corner, into the grass. It's not what you want to do. Is that something you've talked about? Like, if the car is unstable, are you going to change the strategy, or is it just stick to what you planned and keep going?
I mean, these guys, they know what they want to do. They make on the fly decisions. I know Case will do everything he can to stick out this first stint at least. We won't prematurely come in, and unless the car's really unstable and unpredictable.
Yeah, it's a fair point, and we did talk briefly about the two-stop as he gets very close to Lind through the first sector, but it's just dropping back on the exit of the corners due to the dirty air. Yeah, we did talk about the two-stop. Could possibly switch to that, but not sure if that's a thing he's considered before. I know a few drivers talked about it, but the pit lane time is very, very long. Obviously, you stop, you drive down the 80. Ooh, there's a car off there.
Oh, it's Gockman. Oh, he's just lost third place. So that's a shame, but that puts Lind on the last step of the podium.
It's unfortunate for him dropping from P3 down to P7. Definitely had the pace, so should be able to work his way back up there. Thankfully, he didn't collect anyone, but
yeah, but we spoke about that sector earlier. It's just flat out, and these guys obviously they've got race fuel now, so that car's even weightier. You know, if they've been practicing their race stints, they will be acclimatized to that uphill part. But you feel like you can go faster, and then that apex starts closing in on you. He's going for a move down the inside. That's a nice one.
So Lynn tries to stick around the outside, but just not enough, and then into the left-hander following it. Just can't. He would be on the inside for that if he can stay around the outside, but Case makes the move back into P3, 6 seconds off his teammate up the road. But yeah, he's probably more happy where he is now as Lynn just runs wide trying to follow, which is quite interesting to note. We see this quite often, especially through corners like that. A driver can get overtaken, and then in their haste to try keep up and get past again, they don't counteract for the dirty air that they suddenly get, and they haven't experienced before, and end up running wide through some of the corners. We've seen some drivers completely fly off the road into the wall and lose multiple positions before, which is obviously a bit disappointing. You get overtaken, you hope you can make the place back, and then it's just over as soon as you even think about it. He's dropped 1.5 seconds to Willems already, which is, you know, half a lap. It's really surprising, and Lind is not an inexperienced driver at all, but he can just catch you out when you're not expecting it.
Yeah, I mean, once these guys have been overtaken, unless they can stick with them, like Lind nearly did in the first turn, yeah, they kind of have to almost admit defeat. You know, they might have won this battle, but the war's not over. Recalculate what you need to do, and yeah, get your tires up to a decent temperature as well, because obviously that's going to be playing a part, staying so close to these other cars, surely.
Yeah, running close to the car, obviously putting more load. Oh, his shot, he runs wide through one of the corners, keeps it straight, but loses a bit of time. Yeah, they're following the cars through here. The fast corners heat the tyres up. Following, you have to put more load on them because the downforce drops off using the mechanical grip a little more, and you can just heat those tyres beyond where they want to be. As we saw to Pollock earlier, he was spinning around just again and again just because the tyres get hot, and then it's yeah, they just, what's the word, Kilgore?
Degrade? I don't know.
No, vicious circle almost. Like you heat the tires up, and then they get hotter and hotter as you keep sliding, and it's just keeps getting worse. But interesting to note, a lot of the grid is on the C3 tire. We spoke earlier that we thought the C2 would maybe be the popular option, but
sorry to cut across, but did anyone notice Goffman pitted, or is that just the tire choice?
I believe
he's gone off again. What are the chances? Speak of the devil.
Yeah, and he has to wait. Obviously, that's a blind crest from his point of view there. It's hard to get back on the track safely as he does manage it, but he's dropped a few positions. Disaster for him. He's running P3 at one point, and now he's all the way down in P13, sorry.
Oh.
Yes, Ali Gockman actually pitted. He is on one lap of tires.
Oh, that's even worse, and that's so disappointing for him. Obviously, the C2s, he's going to hope he can get to the end on them, and in the efforts to get the temperatures up, possibly he's just overcooked it, and then temperatures are too high. With the tyres, I'm not sure if many are aware of this, but there's the internal temperature of the tyre, and then you've got the canvas temp. They're both very, very different, and a spin heats up the part of the tyre you don't want, and then you can just lose all the grip, whereas you want the overall heat of the tyre to be consistent throughout. You don't want, because the peak grip is at a certain pressure, a certain temperature, and if you spin, you just get them both out of sync, and it's just going to keep happening again and again.
Hepner, who had a bit of a moment at the start of the races. He's clawing his way back up to P11 on the C1 tyre. He's not doing too bad, considering. Let's just see how long that tyre lasts, really.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. He pitted just at the start of the race after that mistake. I know a lot of the master drivers will be watching this quite intently to see what the tyre choices are. The challenger drivers don't have that luxury. Obviously, they have to do the practice themselves, and then the master drivers get the luxury of watching how it unfolds, how the tyre strategy works, and then they can copy it.
Goffman's off again. That's turn 12.
Yeah, that's a DNF from him, unfortunately.
That's understandable. I mean, but it's a shame, obviously, at the same time. Speaking of good recoveries, Tom Bunton, who I can't remember who he had to tangle with at the start. He's up to P10, so he's into the points.
Yeah, there's 13 runners now, actually. Pollock's just not actually managed to get past Cockman, who's DNF now. But yeah, back in the points. I think this is his first race in Challenger Split, first race in Formula Trout with his team, so it's good to see him up there, but Hepner is right on his tail now, just 5 tenths behind.
Yeah, you're right there. He's all over him.
Oh, it's happening to spins!
Oh, that's not going to do his tyres any good. He manages to stay on the grey stuff.
If he damages his tires too much, he might have to come in again. Because
Yeah,
the
you're right.
whole race on the C1s is still asking a lot.
Okay, what's this?
So Arthur's right behind Bunton now as well. Hepner dropped back, but Arthur's gained those positions. I think he pitted a couple of laps ago as well. He's just 2 tenths behind coming into the first corner. Can't make the move, but he's right on his tail.
Yes, Robbie Arthur pitted 5 laps ago for C2s. And he's setting personal best sectors.
He's managed to keep up with Bunton. Oh, it's one of our cars is DNF'd, it seems. Oh, okay. Any comments on that, Christoph? I don't know if you saw that.
Bernabe's into the pits.
I saw briefly in the pits. There's a bit of ghosting going on here.
Yeah, obviously we have it's a bit different in sim racing. We can have some everyone's in the comfort of their own homes, so they're at the mercy of their internet connection sometimes, and you can get some quite strange results coming up, but seems to be back to normal now. Yeah, as Bernabe just comes out the pits, I'm not sure what tyres he's on. Some of the white-walled C2s, they should be going to the end. He started on the C3s.
Yeah, he comes out, no traffic to worry about. He just needs to put in some laps now and hopefully not go into the green stuff.
Yeah, the undercut should be very powerful here, because if you're... Oh, it's Merrick from the lead pits. We were saying about the undercut, Gibson hasn't pitted, so don't want to get caught out, see the other car starting to pit, and you have to... You're the one to trigger it almost, because you don't want to get undercut. You can't pass here, so you need to make that pit stop when it counts. Wilhelms looks like he actually lost it on the pit entry there.
Everyone is in the pits right now. 4 or 5 cars
Merrick
in the pit lane.
comes out. Actually, no traffic to worry about. Maybe Dolciotti. No, I think he might get out in front of him. Yeah, he does. So Case, the line is splitting up the strategy here. Case pitting on the same lap as Merrick.
Gibson stayed out. They were all on the same tyres, so we can see Merrick's lost around 23-24 seconds to Gibson in front. I doubt he's going to lose that time unless he makes a mistake. Obviously, Dolciotti's slotted between Merrick and Wilhelms, but they both pit at the same time, so there's going to be no... It's just going to be raw pace to the end then, unless they have to pit again.
Interesting to see though, Oliver Gibson sets a personal best Sector 1 as he heads into the pits, so the tires can't really be that bad if they still set personal bests, as others do as well.
Yeah, it's interesting to see. Obviously, the cars which have pitted won't be able to set their fastest laps because they're coming out the pit lane in their Sector 1. But, as you say, Gibson setting a personal best Sector 1, maybe... He has come into the pits now, and he's going to come out behind Merrick unless he makes a mistake. Yes, if we see Merrick just going through there.
Both go across, but Hepnan's just gone off. Just after turn 3. He keeps banging into the wall, I think. He's done a lot of damage, unfortunately.
It's a shame
Merrick
to see.
Goes fastest in the last sector.
Mugello being a high downforce track, obviously, with all the fast corners. The data suggests Stephen Hepner has quite a damaged car by now, so he should definitely feel it in the corners, the reduction in downforce.
So Gibson's pitted and opted for the C2, right? I didn't see that.
I believe so, yeah. He's 1.7 seconds to Merrick in front, so he's actually closed the gap a little bit after the pitted.
Yeah.
Usually, typically, you know, the car that comes out the pits has to get the tyres up to temperature, but clearly Gibson here has got them switched on immediately, and he's almost caught a second to Merrick this lap, in fact.
It's worth mentioning that Jace is the only one who has opted for the C1s in the recent pit stops. Everyone else is on C2s.
Interesting.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that plays out for the rest of the race. Obviously, the C2s are going to be faster for now, as we can clearly see a second he caught in that last lap alone, but are they going to hang on for the whole distance? You know, we've got another 21 laps to go, and it's really asking a lot from the C2 tyres around a track like this. For anyone new to these cars, new to the league, we run the RSS Formula Hybrid car here, and we have the option of C1, C2, C3, C4 and C5. The larger number, the softer the compound is, you'd only really see the C5s at a track like Monaco, and only really see the C1s at a track like this. So we have had a few cars actually running the C1s. I think last Master race, I think one of the Master Split race, I should say, ran the I think, who was it? Was it Hammerlink? Had a mistake early on and switched to the C1s and ran almost the whole race distance on them. We've seen that in Formula 1 in the past, in races such as I think Sochi in 2015. I think Nico Rosberg pitted onto the hard tyres and ran them for the whole distance. So it's mirrored to the real life what can sometimes happen, but you have not seen the hard tyre before, the C1 tyre before, to this extent, you know, the whole grid considering it at least. But very, very aggressive choices. A lot of the cars on the C3 to the C2 strategy, unless potentially they're going to be pitting later on onto the C3s, I'm not sure.
Gibson just about holding on for now. Not quite in DRS range, 1.3, 1.4 seconds sometimes. This will... Oh, that was close. Hepner again. Still in the points, but just about on the C1 tyre.
Yeah, he had his accident earlier
at this rate.
Yeah, he had his accident earlier, and he's just gone round again. As you say, still in the points, but the car behind just 3 seconds now. Needs to keep it on the road for the rest of the distance. No mistakes, which is going to drop out of the points, which is a bit of a disaster for him. He's been posting some strong results this season, especially after the last few seasons where he's had some disappointing races. So, looks like Wilhelms is getting held up by a lapped car there. He's going side by side through one of the corners with him. Which is a bit of a disaster for him, but Merrick actually sets a slower lap time than Gibson behind. caught up again, a 10th that lap, just 1.3 seconds separating the lead at P2 now.
It's quite interesting considering Merrick set the fastest last sector as well.
Yeah, obviously Gibson's going to be pushing Merrick right for the rest of the race now until his tyres drop off, and if he makes any mistakes, just Gibson will be right there to pounce on, take the positions.
It's Happiness off again.
Looks like the same corner as well, does it?
Yeah, and he will have where's Tom actually? Tom, yeah, Bunton is slowly catching up to him. He will be all over Happiness shortly if he keeps making those mistakes.
Yeah, the car looks a bit of a handful. You can see it squirming as he goes through these fast corners. The driver's going to want the car to be super rock solid through there, and he's just you can see the car is just not glued to the ground as you'd expect a car like this to be.
Carter Jackson's on a really good lap at the moment. Purple in the first 2 sectors. If you can get this one dialed in correctly, he should be on to the fastest lap as Merrick currently holds the fastest last sector.
Yeah, he does seem to have been just extended the gap a little bit. I think 2/10. Merrick pulled the gap on Gibson that last lap, so maybe the C1s have finally got switched on. Obviously, the harder compound's going to take longer. As yeah, Jackson sets a 1:18.6. I'm not sure how that stacks up, but it's not a bad lap time.
It could be fastest lap of the race currently.
It's 800ths off Merrick, which he set a 1:18.6 flat.
It's not too bad a lap time then. I do want to just draw attention to Carter. He's been really improving the last few races. He had a bit of a rocky start last season, getting hit off at a few rounds, but running P5 now, setting... Oh, commentator's curse in action as he spins through the fast corner.
Alex, please.
Ooh, as he just misses Dolciotti, I think, on one of the lapped cars there.
He manages to hold on to 5th.
It was Happener, he just missed. Dolciotti's just coming up.
Hebner's gone off again, yep. So Dolciotti's right behind him, just 3/10 behind now, and he's going to have the hot tyres. Just needs to keep a calm head, be sure he won't get past through the sweeping corners and stay on the road almost. Well, basically, I should say.
And Oliver Gibson is just falling behind now. He's closing in on 2 seconds behind Merrick at this rate.
So it looks like a lapped car's getting in the way there. I'm not sure who that is, but Jackson won't be happy as he just parks in front of him through the final corner. He'll get the DRS assistance down the straight, but you can see Dolciotti is just 2/10 behind him now. He looks to the inside. He's too far back to make any impact on the position, but yeah, Jackson's not going to be happy. Obviously, he's made the mistake of his own. Oh, sorry, the timing screen's... Robbie Arthur's going side by side through the final corner. Not sure if he made a mistake there.
No, he was in 9th, and he's getting past who was that? Shawan. Shawan's giving him a run for his money though. It looks like he's holding on to it as he goes into the inside corner. No!
Oh,
Go on, Arthur.
Yeah, as he just backs out, didn't want to get his nose chopped off through the left-hander and loses the position, or doesn't gain the position, I should say, to Shawan there. But yeah, Jackson was just getting held up by one of the lapped cars there. I wasn't sure who it was, but he's made the mistake, and then through no fault of his own, he gets held up by a lapped car, which puts Dolciotti right behind him as they come through the last corner now, I think. Should have DRS again, just 5/10 separating them. Dolciotti looks to the outside, but then chooses the inside afterwards, right alongside the braking zone. He's quite clearly ahead. I don't know if maybe Jackson will go for the switchback, but you have the inside line for the next corner, and yep, Dolciotti's through. Carter's not going to be happy with that. He tries to hang on behind him.
Like the screen went black for me.
I'm so sorry. That was an amazing move from Kash. He just went down the inside of one of the sweeping corners. I don't know if Dolciossi had a bad exit there, but it was a fantastic move down the inside. Looks like Bernabei's gone off in the first sector. A disaster for him. I don't think he's lost any positions, but
He's very brave holding onto that place and fighting back in that part of the track from Carter Jackson.
Yeah, I've never actually seen a move there before. That's very, very impressive. It wasn't like he was alongside or had the tyre advantage. Fair racing from both cars, and Carter came out on top. Oh, as you can see, Arthur running through the flat out right-handers, just can't take it flat in the dirty air and runs wide, loses 3 or 4 tenths, just still in DRS, but maybe not able to make the move next corner. We've got a car off there. I think it's Alistair Pollock again.
It's quite interesting to see. The last 2 laps I've been following Jason Oliver, and it seems that Oliver's fastest in the first 2 sectors, but Jace seems to get the last sector. I mean, he is completely just managing the pace at the moment, as Oliver just holds on to just over a second behind Merrick.
Yeah, they're definitely managing the pace. He has the advantage so far. So it's a 19.4, Gibson a 19.1, so he does close that lap. Just while you were talking about that, Kilgore, it seems like Dolciossi got past Carter Jackson. We were singing his praises on his great defence, but Jackson is still just 4 tenths behind throughout the rest of the lap, so we'll have DRS coming down onto the start-finish straight. Obviously, we only have the 1 DRS zone at this track, which makes keeping close throughout the whole lap super important if you do get past. But the fast corners here, the dirty air, does give him a challenge, as he's 8 tenths now. He will have the DRS, but probably too far behind to make a move.
Mario Lind also closing in on Case Willems, so that'll be another one to watch out for. As Willems, Gibson goes sets a session best in the second sector. He's on a flying one this one.
As we ride on board with Gibson, you can see flat through this left-right chicane, then late deep braking into the last corner to slingshot you onto the final onto the start-finish straight. He's 1.1 seconds behind Merrick, so just outside the DRS range, but he's been closing the last few laps, as you said. He sets 18.4, so that's the fastest lap of the race so far. 3 tenths faster than Merrick in P1. Still not enough to make any impact on him, but Merrick's clearly going to be feeling the pressure now. Can't make any mistakes.
I mean, we still have 13 laps left, so it's still a long way to go. There's a tyre difference between Jace and Oliver, Jace being on the C1, Oliver on the C2. So my guess is that it rather swings into Merrick's favour than Gibson's.
Yeah, Gibson's having to use his tyres up now to really kind of put the pressure on Merrick, otherwise Merrick's going to win in the long run, basically.
Yeah, if he needs to make the move, he needs to make it in the next few laps, otherwise the tyres are going to drop off and Merrick's going to start driving away. But he has just pulled within a second through that sector there, but I'm not sure if he'll have the DRS down the start-finish straight. Looks like Dolciotti's made a mistake. Not sure where that is on track, but he's lost P5 to Jackson. Seems to be, yeah, it's just in the first sector. Bernabei's a bit too far behind to be able to make the move, but a bit of a disaster for Dolciossi there after the amazing move. Sorry, I'm getting my driver's medal up. Yeah, I did manage to get past in front of Jackson, but yeah, just a little mistake and it drops you almost 15 seconds behind as well. Whereas it looks like maybe Gibson made a bit of a mistake there. He's dropped 5-6 tenths of the car in front. I'm not sure if they're getting held up by traffic, as we can see the lap car getting out of the way.
Yeah, he's lost a lot of time. That's unfortunate because he was even faster again on the previous lap.
Jace had DRS down the main straight from the back marker, so that might help him.
Yeah, obviously, it's quite important to look at why they get DRS. Some people say that's not fair, but DRS exists to gain you back the time you lose because of the dirty air, not to help you overtake. The official judgment of it as such, it's not a overtaking aid as much as it's a dirty air prevention almost to get the time back.
Again, it's called drag reduction system, I guess, for that. Not to imply anything like an overtake button or
The original attempt is that the driver gains back what he lost in dirty air over the last corners, the last lap, depending if you have 1, 2, or 3 DRS zones, but is to give something back rather than promote overtaking. But I mean, you see how it works.
Yeah, obviously, it's around here where you only have the 1 DRS zone. As Chuan runs wide, trying to follow, keeps it on the track, but a bit of a scary moment for him there. Yeah, we only have the 1 DRS zone here, so it's hard to keep up through all the dirty air, and I don't really think you gain the time back at a track like this, unfortunately. I mean, some people might prefer that, say an overtake is earned rather than just given with some of the DRS at some tracks, but yeah, it's very, very difficult to overtake at a track like this.
The thing is also you need to be at the right distance, because if you're not close enough, you're even closer in turn 1, and then you have the dirty and then you drop back again. As Happener and is battling it out with, is it Imran?
No, it's Tom Bunton, I believe, from Team Gridfinder. Just as he spins in turn 1, unfortunately.
Interesting to note that as the race leaders make their way past Bunton, a lot of traffic coming up for them. How they negotiate their way through them will be, might decide on who's the race winner in the long run. But I think Merrick might have gained DRS in the last lap. I could be wrong. It just seemed that he was picking up a lot of pace in that straight.
Yeah, you can see the cars in front. Looks like Bernabé and Shawan are racing in front there, running their own race, but they both need to adhere to blue flags as they go side by side in the last sector. Just gets the cutback. Bernabé manages to keep the position, but you can see the leaders catching up now. Merrick's going to get DRS here, but just one of the cars goes off.
Shawan.
But you can see Merrick's lost almost 5 tenths to Gibson behind. He's now within 7 tenths down the start-finish straight. Both cars have DRS. So Bernabé lets Gibson through, just 7 tenths separating them now. You can see the traffic. We did say catches it, can catch you out, and you can lose that position. Just almost worst thing happened to Merrick there. Car spinning in front of him, could have collected him. Thankfully it didn't. Looks like he's not going again.
I almost feel like I had 2020 foresight there. We might have done a foreshadowing commentator's curse.
Yeah, I imagine Merrick a bit of a heart in the mouth moment there. Has managed to keep it going, not losing any time. He's back 1.3 seconds to Gibson behind, so he's not out of the woods yet, but prevented that challenge for now.
Half a second, Merrick lost half a second on Gibson on that lap, so I mean this could decide the race at the end if you come back into the DRS zone, if you can come close enough to make an overtake. There's 9 laps remaining.
Yeah, there's just over 3/4 distance. The tyres are still hanging on for most cars. There doesn't appear to be anyone considering the 2-stop, which is quite surprising after what we heard. The times are dropping a little bit now. Gibson's at 19 that lap. Merrick 16.8. At 18.8. 18.6. Oh, as he runs wide! It's Gibson's through. Gibson's through for the lead.
Yeah.
Into the first sector as Merrick runs wide.
Runs wide.
Runs wide through the first corner, and Gibson's right there to make the move, as you did say, Christoph. You make that mistake, you lose the time, and then yeah, Merrick's lost the lead, unfortunately, to Gibson, depending on who you're rooting for in this race.
Yeah, with 9 laps to go, as Merrick got enough life in those C1 tires to come back. He should do, as they as Heffernan does another spin. Nice photo opportunity.
Yeah, it's unlucky for Merrick. I'm not too sure what happened. I was a bit distracted during the time. He just seemed to run wide through the corner, and then Gibson made a very, very brave move through the second and third corners to get through. As you do say, he does have the tyre advantage, Merrick, but unless he can keep up and not let him extend the gap too much, obviously C1s versus C2s, Merrick should be faster near the end of the race, but Merrick was 2 seconds slower than normal then, so with that mistake, hopefully he won't make any more. We can keep this race close as Bernabé just gets overtaken by his teammate there. I'm not sure if it was team orders there, but they're P7, P8 and P9 all within 2 seconds.
Luck.
Yeah, they're super close together. Schwann's just 2/10 behind. Looks to the inside, but you're never going to be able to make a move down there. It's just too fast, too dangerous. You don't want to end your race. Manages to be keeping behind him though. Sorry, Christoph, go on.
Even if you run wide in that corner just a little bit and you drop back, lose 3 or 4 tenths, the car behind can never overtake because you're still almost flat out. There is no braking zone.
Sorry, Christoph, Gibson's just made a mistake. He's gone off in the last sector, has handed Merrick the lead back. Did say the C2s were going off and clearly maybe just not able to keep up the pace, and he's gone round, maybe gone wide and handed the P1 back to Merrick. Disaster for Gibson, disaster for Lioneers, but Nova Academy were very happy with that. It's 2 seconds now, almost mirrored each other. One makes a mistake in the first sector, one makes a mistake in the third sector, swapping the lead back and forth in just 2 laps.
You say that, but look at the time that Gibson has just gained back. I mean, it looked like he almost had 2 seconds. Merrick had on Gibson there as he made his mistake. Gibson, that is. But yeah, Gibson's right back in the mix. You know, he's almost back within DRS, so it could go either way as we head into the final 6 upcoming laps.
Yeah, both cars are going to be running low on fuel now. The weights will be down. They'll be pushing super hard. Gibson's no stranger to winning races, as he won last time out in Bahrain. Merrick, this is his first time, I believe, leading the race, so maybe extra pressure for Merrick. He's just trying to take it easy, trying to not make another mistake as he just did a few laps ago. Obviously, unless I would say about 5 tenths going into the last corner, he should be safe to Gibson in front, but never expect. I don't know where I'm going with this, but it's well, as I said, one mistake and Gibson can be back through, as we've just seen twice in 2 laps.
I think Murray Lind is also closing in on Case Willems. The distance was, or the gap was 2 seconds just a few laps ago. Now he has DRS, so that battle is also far from over.
As you can see, Wilhelm's weaving there to break the toe. Lind will be too far behind. Flash of sparks as they go into the braking zone there. But as we saw with the leaders, the cars in front looks like P7, P8, P9 again. Just the Arthur and Bernabé battling in front, running their own race, and the leaders catching up very fast. We saw what happened with Merrick, lost almost 5 tenths to the car in front. Could happen again with P3 and P4. So Gibson just got within a second there of Merrick once again. So what you're saying, Kilgore, does seem to be the case. The tyres are hanging on. Gibson does seem to have the pace even after that mistake.
Yeah, it could be down to setup as well. We don't know how these cars are tuned up, so you know, it could be that certain parts of the track. Tom Bunton's just gone off in the first sector. Sorry to cut across myself. He seems to have got it back on track, but a bit of damage. And Steve Heppner again, as always. But the gap now between 2 drivers, I think Gibson's got DRS.
Yeah, it's just 7/10 now going into the first corner. Just 9/10 into the final corner, so did get the DRS. It's helped him close up there. It's really putting the pressure on Merrick now. He's even closing during these sweeping corners. The dirty air would be super strong, but the tyre advantage just seems enough to be able to keep him there.
It just shows you how much they are pushing, because they always want to catch each other, but they also don't want to make a mistake, because if you go off once, the other guy has pretty much won it and can chill. So take as much risk as possible without making mistakes, especially on the worn tires.
Yeah, definitely. We just saw both the cars go off in the last few laps, and thankfully for them, it was just running wide slightly into the grass, but they take the grass maybe on the entry, a bit too much on the exit, and it can flick them off, and they might lose 10-20 seconds, which would drop them back, maybe even out of the podium, which obviously a bit of a disappointment if that was to happen. Gibson just within 8/10, nowhere near close enough to make a move, but he will have the DRS to be able to keep up. So switch to Mario Lind, just 7/10 behind Wilhelms now into the DRS zone. Wilhelms again weaving to break the toe. Not sure how much that's helping, but he seems to think so.
Gibson's closer than ever. He's 5/10 behind Merrick. Don't know if he's going to make a move.
Sorry, just Lynn just looked to the outside there through turn 1, wasn't able to make the move. Tried to hang on, but nothing there. Looks like Bernabe's made a mistake. Not sure where this is.
Turn 1, or just after turn 1, and into turn 2.
It's a shame. He's dropped a couple of positions there. Still in the points. Good gap to the car behind, but yeah, a bit of a disaster. We'll just ride on board with Oliver Gibson here. Just 7/10 through the last sector. We've just got 3 laps remaining. Merrick needs to keep a cool head throughout these laps. Just don't think he's been leading a race before, especially not in these late stages, so just 7/10. DRS will be in effect. Probably not close enough to make the move, but you never know. The ERS these cars have, Gibson sets another fastest lap, 18.4. The ERS systems these cars have very complicated. Drivers managing them throughout the race. You can maybe just use that extra bit of power to get you close through the race, get you close down the straight and make a move. You know, when you're almost a second back on the car in front. But Merrick survives for another lap, but we'll see.
And this will be the challenging part for the driver, to hold on through the dirty air, find that line. Almost have to adapt to a different line in a way.
Bernabe's in the pits again.
Maybe for fastest lap, not sure. He did have a gap to the car behind. He did spin, so it would make sense to put the softer tyres on. Maybe have a chance at fastest lap and just make sure you don't make another mistake. So Gibson will have the DRS again, but not quite close enough to be able to make a move, I don't think. Could be wrong.
The thing is, you can get closer in the middle sector where you have the slow-ish S-turn, and then you have this 180-degree sweeping corner where you just lose everything you gained throughout the entire lap.
It seems as if Merrick's obviously saving all of his DRS for the last corner where he dumps it, because he seems to be faster every single time coming out of it. Who knows, maybe he's just got that exit perfect.
Yeah, Gibson will be pushing super hard to try and keep up. Runs the grass on the entry to that corner there. Tries to keep up. He's 6/10, but you can see him struggling to keep the car on the road in the dirty air. Runs wide onto the curb. Doesn't lose too much time.
Merrick goes fast in the second sector. That's not what Gibson would like to see.
Mario and Case also went side by side through turn 1 and 2 again, but Mario did back out in the end, so goes down to the last laps as well.
Merrick starts the final lap of the race in the lead. Just one more
This is the
lap
closest
to
that
go.
Gibson's ever been.
Almost identical lap times. Does have the DRS. There is traffic in front.
This traffic could play an important factor now. Gibson has not been closer than he has been on this lap.
You can see Gibson's using the whole track, pushing super hard. Merrick's taking it a little bit easier in front, just trying to survive for this last lap. He should be able to hold on, because there's no mistakes. Just the final sector to go now. Merrick just 4/10 ahead. Traffic in front, but should get out of the way. I shouldn't affect the battle too much.
Yeah, I think other than dirty air that Merrick might receive, shouldn't really play much of a factor. I think he might just get away with this one. Who knows? Gibson giving it everything, I'm sure, but that finishing line is coming up closer and closer. And Merrick has won the Italian Grand Prix round 3 of the Challenger Split, sponsored by HRT. And that's not hormone replacement therapy, that is a Horizon Racing team.
So Wilhelms manages to take home P3 after the terrible start to his race, if I don't want to be too rude. Made that mistake early on, but he has managed a podium finish. Very happy with that. P2, P3 for Lioneers. Linda in P4. So Jackson.
So I was going to say, Linda won't be too disappointed with that, to be honest. But yeah, go on, Jackson P5.
Jackson hasn't quite crossed the line yet. I think he's our last car which hasn't been lapped, but I think he'll be classified P5 regardless, so he'll be very, very happy with that result. It just comes around the last corner now. I think that's potentially his best result he's had in the Challenger Split, so it's a great finish from him. But we go back to our winner, Jace Merrick, first win in Formula Trout League. He said the last few rounds, I could have won if it weren't for this, could have won if it weren't for the crash, but here we are, led from the start, managed to win the race. First win for Nova Academy in Challenger Split. So we'll just switch to the interviews now. Hopefully get our race winner in for an interview.
The driver's standings up quite big. Don't know if that grammar even made sense. Jace Merrick, though, catching up to Oliver Gibson with 53 points, trailing Oliver Gibson, who has 58 in first. Unfortunately means that Case Wilhelms is knocked down to P3 in the driver's standings.
Yeah, obviously it's what Jace needed if he wanted to challenge for the championship, a win, and he clearly proved that he's capable. He's, as I said, he said he was capable before, but wasn't able to deliver, and here we are. He's on the top step of the podium. We'll just bring Case in for an interview because he's available now.
Oh, have they never been able to? That's unfortunate, man. That's embarrassing, man. Hey guys.
Hello.
All right. Is it Case? Hey Case, how's it going? P3. P3, nice recovery there. Obviously got the result that you obviously wanted. You know, you likely at least you could have challenged for second for sure.
Yeah, I think you know, Mugello is a really this track wears the tires insanely fast and uses the ERS quite a lot. So you have to be quite low in the ERS mode, try to save as much as possible, which was quite difficult for the both of us. Jace Merrick had some serious pace. We both were thinking, oh, he's only pushing this lap. Oh, he's only pushing this lap. But no, his pace was insanely quick. So hats off to him. I'm really great to see him on the podium as well. So that was great to see. But yeah, for our race, we were both struggling with tires. They overheat really quick. They wear really quick. Yeah, P2 for Oliver, P3 for me. I'm reasonably satisfied. I wish I had a little bit more pace to me, but yeah, overall a pretty decent race.
You got anything to say, Alex? Sorry. I don't know. Has Alex left?
No, I think he's muted.
Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, it was really great stuff from there, from the race there, Case. We saw you battling with Mario Lind a little bit. You just managed to keep him behind you during the last stages of the race. You did have that little spin earlier on, but yeah, nothing to take away with the podium finish, as you said, and
it's a brilliant result for Lioness Racing, who pushed themselves into the triple digits in the Challenger split standings now. And again, I mean, 45 points, Gibson with 58 in the standings. You know, you're still within contention, at least, you know, going forward. How do you feel about Germany?
How do I feel about Germany? I think, to be honest, I quite like Hockenheim. I'm only quite scared of turn one. It's a bit of a scary turn, but I think Hockenheim is going to be a pretty good race for the both of us. So I'm hoping to score as much points as there as well. Yeah, the battle with Mario that I had was quite exciting for me. I was really low on my ERS, so I had to save as much as possible where I could. But yeah, that was quite exciting, especially on when he was almost about to overtake me in turn one. I think that was pretty exciting. But yeah, I'm quite excited for Hockenheim, so we'll see how well we can do there.
Thank you very much, Case. And
we'll get our race winner, Jace Merrick, in now. Jace, fantastic result. P1. I think that's your first win in Challenger Split. You said before you could win. You didn't manage it last time out, but here you are, top spot of the podium. Talk us through it.
Oh my god, man. So when I got together with Ollie at turn one, that was an issue with thermal throttle. If there is something I can say right now, do not buy ASUS's pre-built PCs. But if you do, replace the case, because the cooling in here is absolutely atrocious. My screen froze up for thermal throttling, and yeah, that's just completely inexcusable on it from ASUS.
I mean, other than the brand demolishing that you're currently doing right now, how was your race? I mean, talk us through it.
Well, Ollie really held on, and all I have to say is props to him for making the C2s last that long. I could not make those tires last as long as he did. That's why I opted for the C1s. Because I thought if I would be dying towards the end on the C2s. So that's that. And what else? Oh yeah, ERS. Like that was a very big factor in this. Managing it is going to be very crucial. It was very crucial, I should say, past tense. By the end there, I just dumped everything onto that straight and just hoped for the best. And yeah.
You managed to swipe fastest lap there as well.
Yeah.
1:18.399. Only just as well.
If I did my calculations correctly too, I should be second behind Ollie in the points by 4, if I remember correctly.
5 it is. Oh no, including the fastest lap, yeah, 4. You are right.
So yeah, that's something to be happy about as well.
Yeah, it's a really great job. You should be really proud of the race. It was great to watch, and you had great pace throughout. Was working with because I know you've just moved to an Nova Academy. Was that part of it, do you think, or do you think you could have managed these pace on your own?
Honestly, Alistair, well, he's taking to the car relatively well. I mean, he's coming from BTCC. He's a fish out of water, whereas I'm a duck in water. But yeah, Alex has been super nice. Everybody, like even the Master Split guys, have been super nice, and their input has been very helpful to me. Actually, kind of disagreed with actually disagreed with Max on the tire strategy, and yeah. But other than that, like he's been really helpful in getting everything set up.
Well, it clearly paid off. So yeah, great job. Congratulations on the win again, and hopefully see you on the top step again sometime.
Alrighty, stick around for Master Split because I will be commentating that as well. So valuable. That's gonna be interesting.
Thank you very much. You go shower off real quick.
Oh yeah. Oh my god, I am so sweaty. Yeah.
So thank you. Should we get Oliver Gibson here, our runner-up of the night?
Yep.
Hey Ollie, how's it going? Walk us through your race.
I mean, it's a tough one because I don't know. I assume you got it on stream. Me going wide, but yeah, it's a good drive by Jace. I'm surprised. I think he said I did the C2s that long. We were having a bit of well, not arguments, but discussion about that. But yeah, still good points for the team. Yeah.
It was a very, very good result. You kept him honest throughout the race. We did see the little mistake you made later on, as you said. Briefly gained the lead after Jace's mistake, and then just a mistake of your own a lap or so later and gave it back. Did you feel you had the pace to overtake and build the gap, or do you think probably P2 just behind, evenly matched, was about all you could expect?
I don't know. I mean, it could have gone anyway. To be honest, it was that close. But yeah, Jace was very quick on the C1s, so who knows? I reckon I could have won, but yeah, it's just the nature of the circuit.
Yeah, I definitely think so. As you said, the nature of the circuit, we saw some cars get caught out by traffic. In fact, Jace got caught out by traffic in the middle of the race. Didn't quite manage to get past, but maybe that contributed to his mistake a little later on. Next time we're out in Germany, do you feel confident about there? You won in Bahrain. Maybe Hockenheim's a similar track to Bahrain, so yeah. How do you think Germany will go?
I mean, I really like Hockenheim, so yeah, that's good. I'd say it's in my like top 5 favorite tracks. It just depends how quick everyone else is, but yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Great stuff. Well done on the P2 again. Maybe top step of the podium next time. But yeah, I think you've maintained the Drivers' Championship as well, so great job.
Yeah, thanks guys.
Thank you very much. Let's quickly get Robbie Williams.
Yeah, we've got Robbie Williams here today.
Another guest appearance from Robbie Williams. Let's get Robbie Arthur in here. How's it going, Robbie? As he's, I guess, lost. Are you there, Robbie? That's unfortunate. And with that, Alex has unfortunately got to go prepare for his race in the Master Split. I've been Kilgore Trout, he's been Alex Cochran, and you've been watching the Formula Trout League Challenger Split and the Premier Series. Underscore round 3 Mugello Italian Grand Prix. Thank you very much for joining us, and stick around as the Master Split will be commencing shortly. And yeah, thank you very much.